What's up? Long time no see.
Donte, just like how much different does it feel this time right now going into year two versus the scramble that was
This time last year, I was on a plane flying here, so it feels great. We stayed here this summer. My family and I got to experience a Minnesota summertime, and it was beautiful. And it was, it was a comfortable feeling settled. I think that's the biggest thing. Just the word is just feeling settled. Going in, knowing everybody on the team, knowing everybody's personalities and everything. You just feel settled.
A little earlier this summer when you didn't play for Italy, there was like some stuff out there about maybe your health and things like that. Can you just clear up for us how that played out and how you're doing right now?
I'm healthy. I'm fine. To finish the season last year, as you guys know, I had the option to get surgery. I elected not to. Surgery would have put me out, I think, 5-6 months. And we put a plate in the shoe to restrict that mobility of my toe. And just precautionary of being able to open that range up and get the strength back in that toe, because now, season ended, I pulled the plate out of my shoe. I want to get back to being my normal self. And so it's all precautionary. There's nothing to worry about to start the season. Everything's, 110% ready to go.
Donte, when you look at last season, it seemed like you were getting into a really nice rhythm when you first got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you found there, and how much of that can kind of carry forward into this season as you start with so much, I guess, knowing these guys and what's asked of you? And
last year I learned that, there's a lot of ups and downs in the season. And just to stay steady and trust your routine. I think, like I said, feeling settled. Last year's, you're chasing a routine the whole year. You're chasing something to try to feel what you had in years prior, because everything's different. People are different, coaches are different, players are different, and time is different. And I think that's goes, over a lot of people's heads, the time of routine and the time of when you do certain things to feel comfortable. And I'd used, I looked back on last year and what I liked and what I wanted to change, and going into this summer, more so about my routine. The role's going to change. Everybody's role and what they're asked of is going to change throughout the year. So that I'm not focused on. I'm focused on being able to fall deep into my routine and trust that work. And, good game, bad game, just get back to it.
Last year, combo guard is such a weird idea. Sometimes you're the point guard, sometimes you're not. But you and Nikhil had kind of like the same role to some extent, a little bit redundant. Now he's not here on a team that also has Ant and Julius being ball generators. Can you really kind of lean in more to that shooting guard role now, do you think?
I'm going to lean into whatever Finchie needs me to lean into. And I think that's our build that relationship too this summer, just figuring out what he wants and needs. And he's expressed that to me in the summertime. I've done a lot of work this summer of what he sees of me this year, and whatever's asked of me is I'm ready for it. I think it's, it's different. I always go back to last year's, you're coming in with kind of what you said, like, all right, my role is a shooting guard. We come in and I had 4 or 5 different roles last year. And you have the respect of you having Nikhil right next to you and stuff, and you guys are playing very similar stuff. Now this year, going into the summertime, it's more about, like I said, feeling settled, feeling what's needed from the team, what's needed from Finchie, and now I kind of put my mind at ease of knowing what's needed and knowing what to go into the season focused on.
Donte, how much do you think this team maybe trying to get out and transition open court situations more can benefit you and get you maybe off to a faster start this season?
Yeah, I think that's huge. Not just for me, but I think for everybody. To get Jaden in the open floor, you saw a little bit in the playoffs against the Lakers. You get him in the open floor, nobody can guard him. So you just push the pace, and it allows me to feel a little bit more comfortable of just I don't want to use the word reckless, but playing like a little bit reckless, where you can push the pace and attack downhill and kick out, and you got guys Nas trailing in for threes and stuff like that, and I think that's contagious. So I think we start off like that early. It's contagious where Ant's doing it, Julius is doing it, And then now you have two different ways that we can play. We can slow it down in the half court, but we can also run in transition and get a bunch of easy buckets.
Donte, have you noticed anything different about Anthony going into this season, whether it's from a work ethic standpoint or a leadership standpoint? Anything stand out to you from being around him this summer?
I mean, I wouldn't say different because I didn't know what he was doing last summer. But I think his attention to detail this summer is something that he's really focused on. Being very simple, getting to the moves that he wants to get to. I think that simplicity factor is huge for him, and making the balance of making plays for himself and others. You've seen it. We've been playing pickup, and you just see everything he's been trying to work on. He's trying to implement in the game situation, and he's continuing to grow. Like where he is right now from when I first got here, it's only been a year, and it's completely, a huge growth.
Hey, Donte, I had a chance to run into Brian O'Neill on the golf course this summer.
Big fella.
And he reminded me that you guys were high school teammates.
Yes,
what
we
kind of high school teammate was Brian O'Neill?
He was great. He was my screener, my bodyguard. I got to do whatever I wanted out there. But to see him, it's funny. We were just talking about there's in Delaware there's 3 professional athletes in the league right now, and we're all in Minnesota with me, Bones, and Brian, and to see him be a captain on the Vikings is, I'm super, super proud of him. But just to see him, he hasn't changed at all. He's still the same person.
Donte,
Yeah.
with you coming here, and Julius is such a loud example of not having continuity.
Yeah.
Last season, you look at the past 4 years since Finch has been here. The 1 year this team really started hot was when they didn't make any changes. They just ran back Rudy and Carl. Look.
Yeah.
Do you have experience with that in your career, or what is the value of bringing back a roster that's 90% the same?
I mean, it reminds me a little bit of my time in Milwaukee, where a bunch of the core was all the same people. But this year, I think everybody, that continuity is huge. Everybody kind of feels settled in their roles and understanding terminology and stuff like that. It's hard, not just for us. I'm not saying for me and Julius, but when you implement 2 of us coming in and Cat goes out, terminology is different for us. Every team has stuff that they call stuff differently, and you're trying to figure that out, and you're trying to gel all while winning games early. Then when you're not winning games early, you feel the pressure, you feel all the negativity, and then you kind of you're trying to get yourself going. This year, I don't think there's any of that going into the season. Everything kind of feels like we were just here playing OKC. It feels like we just were here. And that's a good feeling. It's not a bad feeling. It's a great feeling of knowing everybody feels comfortable, everybody feels settled, and everybody's ready to start off hot, to give ourselves a good cushion to give everybody opportunity on the roster. Yeah, thank you.